Here we are again, back at the generator, and I have to stop and say thanks to Jordan David for pointing out some very useful things that I missed in my generator video. And I'm going to try to put those into play today. If you recall, I had a video prior to this one talking about how the inverter charger I have will not work off of 208 volts coming out of the two phases here, two of the three phases. And it was apparently due to low voltage, despite the manual of the inverter saying it would, I think it would work down to, claim down to 165 or something like that. Which means it should have been fine, but it wasn't working at 208. A little bit of research I did pointed in the direction of having a booster transformer, which I found used on eBay, and I went to put that in and it did give me the result I want. The problem is this transformer is pretty limiting. It's only rated the way I have it configured for about 3.2 kilowatts, which would be okay, but this, in addition to the hassle of putting it in and the fact that now the generator is severely hindered with that, if there was just an option to go back and have it directly come off the generator, that would have been ideal, which was what I was looking for in the first place. And most of my problem was, for some reason, when I saw this, which is clearly a voltage adjust now, I see it now that Jordan pointed it out. When I saw that sine wave, I just concluded that was the frequency adjust, or the speed of the engine, which is on another controller, I believe he said. And I don't know if I can see it in here or not. I thought I saw there's another box in here somewhere that said something about I think it's this one here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I believe that has something to do with the speed of the engine, potentially. I don't have a lot of information. That's one of the reasons, one, I posted the video to see if there was anybody out there, which I didn't really expect there to be, but I'm very glad there was. The only documentation that really came with this, I don't even remember the last time I was in here, is pretty much just some service information. There's no real manual or anything, and I downloaded the manual off of Magnum's website for, I don't know if it was the MMG 25, and I just don't recall seeing anything about the adjustments or whatever. That doesn't mean they weren't there, I just maybe didn't spend the time to do it. So again, thanks for pointing that out. We're gonna attempt to eliminate that now, and I have a lot of hope based on what I learned, and again, thanks for the comments. We'll go ahead and wire directly up to the two phases, run it into the inverter, turn our voltage up to about 230 is what was recommended in this case, to prevent the 120 volt line from going too high. And we'll take a look at it, see what that is as well. And I think I'm just going to kind of abandon this in place. I really don't have another use for this for now, and I don't have a lot of time today to disassemble that. We'll hook these wires up, fire it up, and see if we can charge the batteries directly up from the generator, which was what the goal was in the first place. We got the wiring bypassed around the transformer back directly to the generator. We'll go ahead and turn up the voltage here shortly once we get it running. The other thing that, again, thanks to Jordan for pointing this out, behind this panel is some adjustments that I would have never gone looking for, because I generally have the philosophy, if something doesn't work, or if it does work, I'm not going to go messing around with it. Just for, as far as the battery voltage being off, that wasn't that critical to me. But since he mentioned it, and we're making videos, let's go ahead and capture it here for people in the future. And again, credit to Jordan David on this one. Behind this panel is a couple potentiometers, one for adjusting your voltage apparently, and the other one is your amperage adjustment, which today we're only interested in the voltage adjustment. So we'll go ahead and see if we can have it match our battery voltage. And again, using the tip from Jordan, we're just hooking up directly to the battery. Voltmeter's reading about 12.2 0.24. And let's go ahead and click this into remote. That should, yeah, we're up to 28.4. And we're sitting about 36 degrees, I guess, on the temperature. Let's go ahead and see if we can adjust this a little bit. Get us back down to 12. Let's try counterclockwise first and see which way it goes. There's a half a turn. I don't know if that did anything. We're at 26.4. Let's try another half turn. Still at 26.4. I don't know how many turns these are going to take to get us to where we need to be. Still at 26.4. So maybe that's not the right one that we want to adjust. And I did about 2 turns there, so I don't want to keep going too far because I may be adjusting something else that I shouldn't be. That's not attached to the voltmeter reading. I apologize, I got a little cold from this weekend. Hopefully nothing related to the thing that starts with C. I'm just going to crank that back to where I was and see if it's doing anything at all. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be adjusting for the meter readout. And I'm wondering if it's this one down here. But now is where I need Jordan's help again, because I'm going to start turning things that I shouldn't be. Here's one that's called DC adjust. And that's probably the right one. And this is probably your fine tune for the AC. So let's get it down into this one and give that a half a turn. Wow. Yeah, that made a difference. Now we're at 10.2. Okay. Now I hope I put that other one back to close to where it was. We'll see. If that's a fine adjustment, it probably won't be that critical. We'll see. So 11.4. Now we can confirm we're on the right one. Oh, can we get that 0.1 up on the display to 12.1 just to match the meter while we're here? Do we need to be that accurate? No, but this is so much fun and so easy that I just gotta complete it. Somewhat sensitive. Looks like clockwise is higher, counterclockwise is lower. Yeah, it's pretty kind of touchy. Probably should have just left it at 12. See if I can hit it again. 12.2, close enough. Alright, we'll put this back together, fire it up, and see what I did with the voltage adjustment on this. Maybe I should leave that open for now, just in case I do gotta do something with that fine adjustment for the AC voltage. Get our tools off here so they don't vibrate off. We'll open our breaker for now and just see what kind of readouts we get when we start the engine up here. And the other thing that Jordan said is he disconnected his ether system, and I'm curious, I'm sure he'll let me know in the comments, but I'm curious why he did that. And I can't remember if I mentioned in my other videos, I was always surprised that the ether system seems to go to the intake manifold. And this engine uses glow plugs, and I find that a very odd combination to shoot ether into the intake when the engine has glow plugs in it. And I'm not sure if they're just not running the glow plugs enough to ignite the ether, or something that I don't understand is going on. But that's another subject, and apparently somebody else figured that all out, so it should be fine. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, let's see if we can get this to fire up. We're about 40 degrees or so. Voltage has come down a little bit, it looks like. Turn that up a little bit on this voltage adjust. Get us back up to the 208 we were looking at. Closer to where we need to be. Let's go ahead and crank this up a little bit, get us up to about 230 here. Ooh, that's pretty sensitive as well. At 230 for now. We'll go inside and take a look at the inverter and see what. So the meter here is showing about 227 volts. I may just leave that alone. We'll go ahead and see if our inverter will charge the batteries at this point. And it is, so we're putting about 450 watts into the batteries now. Looks like doing that, adjusting the voltage was all it took, which is really great. And again, this is where YouTube to me really pays off, just community sharing, people sharing ideas and knowing more about some things than others. Certainly I don't claim I know a lot about all this stuff, and that's one of the reasons I post, so people can share that information. So thanks again to Jordan David for offering that information and watching the video. Without that, this certainly wouldn't help me, and maybe it can help somebody in the future as well. I'd like to also do a video in the future about these different meters. I'm having a hard time finding some power meters that are both stable and indicate power in both directions. And I thought this one was going to be the ticket, but as you can see, it does a lot of bouncing around. And otherwise it would have been great. This one here is better, and I do have another meter coming, and I'll do a review of those, so look forward to that. It looks like other than that we're in pretty good shape. Let's go ahead and crank up our inverter and see if we can get the full 2 kilowatts coming through. We got about 40 watts coming in from the solar panels right now, which is what this meter's saying. And then this one is indicating a little bit less than that one. That one's showing about 400. That's on the AC side, so that's 460 watts coming in AC. We got, according to this meter, about 370, 80-ish on the DC side going into the batteries. But let's go ahead and crank up our charging rate if we can. The batteries may be mostly full, so it may not go up, but it looks like it is. Yeah, so we're at, oh wow, we're up to, yeah, 2,400 watts of charging, which is a little bit higher than what the manual said about that. I'm going to go ahead and leave the voltage rate at right where it's at, even though it is indicating a little bit low here at 226. I'm curious of what the voltage is on the 110 side. It should be just half of that. I do need to go look on the generator too and see if there's an indicator for the 120 volt side, or maybe I'll just check it with the meter out there to see what the outlet's showing, just to make sure we're not going above 130 volts in case we do plug in directly to the 120 outlets. So it's showing 236 out here, 227 inside. I don't know if this will show us the 120 side voltage. And I actually don't know what this button can all do. Again, I can't find literature on it. I know it can reset the hours, but I'm not sure about getting into different voltages. Let's go ahead and see if we can check the outlets with the meter here. Seems like last time I did this, I couldn't get a voltage out of those meters, or out of those receptacles, but let's try again. To go in there. We're setting right at 130 volts. I'm going to go ahead and leave it, just because on the inside we're showing a little bit lower than 230. If it ends up being a problem, I can always turn that up or down as needed. Alright, so maybe I spent 15 minutes out here. I spent a whole day putting a transformer in, so it goes to show you, doing a little bit of research, talking to some people, if you can find them that have the knowledge on these different pieces of equipment, can really save you a lot of time, frustration, money. I really appreciate all the comments and making YouTube what it is and just sharing that information. It just helps everybody so much. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully we'll be good to go on this for a while. Nothing more I really have scheduled to do with this in the future. Just use it as needed. But hopefully it'll be a long-lasting unit. I think it will. Happy to get it, and if you run across these, at least you'll have a little more information to keep it up and running and make these little fine-tune adjustments. So thanks again to everybody that contributed, and have fun out there, and we'll catch you next time.